Hey everybody, so for today's card I'm using the Art Impressions Ugly Sweater set that I've been getting so many requests for since I showed it in that haul video a few weeks ago. Finally got a chance to ink it up, so I used my Memento Tuxedo Black ink and stamped it onto Kobo Quality cardstock that I had die cut with the new My Favorite Things Pierced Oval Dynamics. And then I'm just using my Copic markers to color it in. And I took a page from the packaging of the Art Impressions stamp, just the way they had it colored. Not a whole lot of blending, very simple, kind of sharp lines for the contrast in that. And I really liked how that looked, so I thought I would just do something really similar with my image. So for the skin, I just did my go-to. I did E50 first, then I added the E21, and purposely didn't blend that out. I added the R20 for the cheeks, and that I did blend out a little bit, because otherwise it just didn't look good at all. So blended that a little bit, and then I went in with the red, which was R24, and then added R27 for the shading. And then once I am done with that, I'm going to add in a little bit of brown for her hair, and I just used E44, which was really quick and simple because there's only that tiny little bit of her hair that shows. And then once I did that, I went on to the little bells for her ears and her shoes, which was C1, and then added a little bit of C3 for the shading. And I'm really liking not having to, like, I don't know, my OCD always makes me want to blend and stuff, but when you actually don't, it goes a lot faster. So yeah, did that, and then I used W1 for the white areas of her hat. And then for her sweater and leggings, I paper pieced them with papers from the Basic Grey 25th and Pine pack. When I looked at that pack, I thought immediately how perfect they would go with the ugly sweater stamps. So I chose the kind of chevron-y tree pattern for her leggings, which I just thought would make, in real life, those would be just horrendous looking. So they're perfect for this. So I had stamped that and then trimmed it out, and then added a bit of shading with a couple of green Copic markers. And then, yeah, for her sweater, I purposely stamped it onto one of the lighter patterns from the pack so that I could color in with different colors, like the stripes around the neck and the bottom of the sweater, and then the letters, of course. And yeah, you could adhere it first and then color it. I don't know why I decided today to just color it and then adhere it. I don't know. No real rhyme or reason to that. But yeah, I did the green, and then I took my red Copic marker and filled in all the letters. And again, you don't have to be super perfect with this, just the way the stamp is drawn, a little more freeform. It's not perfect, so you can kind of be a little bit messier, and it just works. So once I did that, I took my W3 marker and added a little bit of shading. And once that was done, I'm just going to use my Tombow Mono Multi as always. Always being really careful to add just light amounts of glue so you don't have glue oozing out everywhere when you press down the pattern paper and ruining everything. But yeah, you can see that just totally made this image. Like, how fun is this? So once that was done, I added just a little bit more shading around the image, and that was again with just my W1. And yeah, no blending, so super fun and simple. So once that was done, I'm going to go on to the card itself, and yeah, using more of the patterns from the 25th and Pine pack. So I chose the same piece that I used for leggings for the card front, and then just trimmed down 3 pieces of this striped pattern paper. And I find it easier to adhere the top and the bottom pieces first if you want to center the middle piece properly. I was kind of going random with this, and yeah, it didn't have to be perfect, just because with this sort of an image and this kind of a theme, you can kind of have fun with it. So I found some gray seam binding in my stash. This one's from the cat's pajamas, and it was the perfect shade of gray. So I wrapped a piece around the card front and then took a second piece to tie as my bow, and then just trim that down. And then I've got to adjust it a little bit for this main image, which is quite large. Like, I had used the largest die from the Pierced Oval stacks to cut it out. And it takes out almost a full A2 card front. And then for the sentiment, I stamped onto a piece of gray cardstock, and then I'm using my new Spellbinders Super Ellipse dies. I'd shown this in a haul video as well, like the same one like weeks ago. It's the closest thing I found to the Stampin' Up! Key Tag Punch. That's why I got them. So I used the smallest die, and it was able to die cut the sentiment perfectly. So I adhered down the main image, and then for the sentiment, I decided to pop that up on dimensionals. So I cut down the medium-sized circles and adhered those to the back of it, and then got the backing peeled off and got that into place. And then I'm going to add a few little embellishments for my stash. So I had a couple of fabric flowers that were in the right shade of red. So I grabbed those, and then just some brads from my stash that were the closest shade of green to the lighter shade in the pattern paper. So yeah, I attached them with the brads and just added a third one just to finish it off. And then I'm going to mat the pattern paper with a piece of red cardstock that's also from my stash. I know it's by Stampin' Up, but it's some random in color, and I know someone that knows Stampin' Up will probably know immediately what it is. But I didn't have it labeled, so I have no idea what shade this was, but yeah, it matched the red in the basic gray paper perfectly, so matted it with that. And then I'm just going to adhere that to the card base itself, which is the really, really old Stampin' Up going gray cardstock. So this stuff's been retired for years, I'm pretty sure. But I still got a few sheets of it left in my stash, so yeah, worked for this card. So of course I had to bling it up a bit, and with this sweater you totally almost need to, just to make it more gaudy. Like, how fun. So I took Christmas red stickles, rather fitting, and filled in all the lettering on her sweater. And then I grabbed some silver stickles for the little bells, and then added a few little dots to her sweater as well, just to bling it up and make it fun. So yeah, really fun. And then that was it for the outside of the card. And then on the inside of the card, all I'm doing is using the same pattern papers I used on the outside. I die cut the same pattern I used for her sweater. It's light enough that you can write over it with a ballpoint pen and see it. And I matted it with a larger oval. Again, both die cut with the largest of the pierced oval Stacks Dynamics. And adhere that to the inside of the card, being very careful not to smush the front with the wet stickles, because I've done that before. And that's all there was to it. So there'll be a link below to my blog post with links to all the supplies used, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!